I'm very happy to speak on behalf of, well, I don't know, on behalf of my group or anybody else, but just as a person. You know, maybe those government leaders who think it's a really good idea to make deals with countries like Libya, maybe they should spend some time in a camp like that. And then we should ask them again if they think it's such a good idea. We did a deal with Libya. I think it was back in 2011. Berlusconi gave 5 billion euros to Libya for the same purposes as we're discussing now. So haven't we learned? This is the result. I find the title on this image very striking. Humanitarian implications of EU policy. These are the consequences of our policies. Yes, we can point the finger at the Libyans, and there are all sorts of people who do things that are wrong. But this is the result of our policy choices. And it's not only this. I find these images and the stories by now unbearable. We just got another report by the FRA about the conditions of asylum seekers and refugees. This weekend, the Pope, whom I don't usually quote, but he referred to the Greek camps as concentration camps. And of course then there was a lot of controversy over his choice of words, but I think it was perfectly clear what he meant. The conditions that people are living in, not just in Libya, but on our continent, are appalling, unacceptable. Yesterday I read a story again of women, girls, 4-year-old girls being raped systematically. Imagine it's your daughter. This is happening in our name, colleagues. And I know that in this House there's actually a degree of consensus for what a solution should look like. I think everybody here is appalled. I find it incomprehensible that members of the Council, government leaders, are talking about this by way of solution. They should be deeply, deeply ashamed of themselves, and in particular those government leaders. And sorry to say this, I hope I'm not offending anybody here, because I don't want to offend anybody here. But they're government leaders talking about Christian values in the European Union. This is happening in their name. Is this Christian values? I don't think so. This is Fortress Europe. This is the result. Don't call it EU policy. It's Fortress Europe. This is the result of policy choices. And we can talk a lot about, yes, we're going to train the Coast Guard and explain to them about the Geneva Conventions. Really? You think people don't know about the existence of the Geneva Conventions? They know about the existence, they just don't care. And there are actually people making a good buck out of this. And finally, colleagues, I think one thing that this Parliament should not accept is that all of a sudden asylum and refugee policies have become part of the external policies, because then it's out of our hands. And I'm very happy that Mr. Pontiroli is here, but that's not the point. It's not about you. This is about the fact that there's a kind of, you know, a kind of creeping shift to a policy area where the European Parliament has no say anymore. And we also know that in practice, national parliaments have no say anymore either. So I think we should resist that fiercely in this Parliament. Asylum and refugee policies are EU policies. We have a say about it, and if there's anything that this Parliament can do to alleviate this misery, then we should not lose that opportunity. And finally, we all know that the real solution is a proper, common EU asylum and immigration policy. We know that in this House. And I repeat my proposal from the start. Those government leaders who want to propagate this as a solution, I think should spend some time in these camps, and then we'll ask them again. Thank you.